The text came in at 2:47 p.m. on a Thursday. Mom, Sunday dinner at 5. Your father is making his famous ribs. Everyone will be there. Please come. Everyone. I stared at that word like it was written in a language I'd forgotten how to read. Everyone meant my brother Tyler. Everyone meant my ex-wife Rebecca. Everyone meant the two people who'd spent 6 months destroying my marriage while I worked 60-hour weeks trying to provide for a family that was already gone. I sat in my car outside the job site, still in my work boots, covered in drywall dust, and typed a response. Me, who's everyone? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Mom, just family. Your father really wants to see you. It's been 3 months. Just family. Rebecca wasn't family anymore. We'd been divorced for 4 months. The ink on the papers was barely dry. The furniture was still divided awkwardly between my new apartment and whatever place she was living in now. Probably Tyler's place. Though nobody had confirmed that officially. Nobody wanted to say it out loud. But I knew. Everyone knew. They just pretended they didn't. Me, is Tyler bringing anyone? Mom, why does that matter? It's just dinner. I closed my eyes. Took a breath that tasted like drywall and regret. Me, I'll think about it. Mom, please, Jake. We miss you. I didn't respond. Just put my phone in my pocket and went back to work. But my hands were shaking when I picked up the drill. Let me back up. 6 months ago, I was married. Happily, I thought. 10 years together. 8 of them married. No kids yet because Rebecca wanted to wait until we were more stable. I was a project manager for a mid-size construction company. Made $82,000 a year. Good money. Not rich, but comfortable. Rebecca was a dental hygienist. Made $43,000. We split bills proportionally. Had a 3-bedroom house in the suburbs. 2 cars. A dog named Cooper who was the only one who came out of the divorce loyal to me. Tyler was my younger brother. 29 to my 36. Worked in sales for a tech startup that kept pivoting and never quite finding product market fit. Made decent commission when he closed deals. Made nothing when he didn't. He'd moved back to town 8 months ago after his company opened a regional office. Stayed with our parents while he got settled. Rebecca and I invited him over for dinner. Multiple times. Because that's what family does. You help out. You show up. You make space. He came over a lot. Wednesday dinners became a regular thing. Sometimes he'd stay late. Watch a movie. Hang out while I finished paperwork in my office. I thought it was nice. Thought Rebecca was being supportive of my family. Turns out she was being supportive in other ways. I found out the way everyone finds out. The way that makes you feel stupid and blind and like you'd been living in a movie where everyone else knew the ending. I came home early from a site inspection. The foundation pour had been cancelled because of rain. I walked in at 2 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. Found Tyler's car in the driveway. Found their shoes by the door. Found sounds coming from upstairs that made my stomach drop into my boots. I didn't kick the door down. Didn't yell. Didn't make a scene. I just stood there in my hallway, in my house, listening to my wife and my brother, and felt something inside me go cold and quiet. I walked back outside. Sat in my truck. Called my lawyer. By the time they came downstairs an hour later, I'd already started the paperwork. Tyler left through the back door. Didn't say a word. Didn't look at me. Rebecca sat on the couch crying. Saying she was sorry. That it just happened. That she didn't mean for it to go this far. I asked her one question. How long? She couldn't look at me. 4 months. 4 months. 16 Wednesday dinners. 16 times I'd welcomed my brother into my home while he was sleeping with my wife. I told her to pack a bag. Told her the locks would be changed by morning. Told her my lawyer would be in touch. She left crying. I sat in my house, in the silence, with Cooper at my feet, and realized I was completely alone. Except I wasn't. Because there was still my parents. I called them that night. Told them everything. Expected support. Expected outrage. Expected them to be as furious as I was. Mom cried. Said she was so sorry. That she couldn't believe this happened. Dad got quiet. Then said, "These things are complicated, Jake. People make mistakes." Mistakes. Like Tyler had accidentally tripped and fallen into my marriage. But I didn't argue. Just said I needed some space. That I'd talk to them soon. That was 3 months ago. Since then, radio silence from Tyler. A few apologetic texts from Rebecca that I never answered. And weekly messages from Mom asking when I was coming to dinner. As if nothing had changed. As if Sunday dinners were still the same wholesome family tradition they'd always been. Except now they apparently included my ex-wife and the brother who destroyed my marriage. Friday morning I woke up to another text from Mom. "Mom, please come Sunday. Your father isn't doing well. He needs his family around him." That got my attention. Dad had been dealing with high blood pressure for years. Had a minor heart episode 2 years ago. Nothing serious, but enough to make me worry. Me, what's wrong with Dad? Mom, just stress. Work. You know how he is. Seeing you would help. Translation, Dad was fine. This was manipulation wearing concern like a costume. But it worked. Because I couldn't completely shut the door on them. Not yet. Me, I'll be there. Mom, thank you, sweetheart. It means everything. I sat on my couch in my new apartment, the one that was half the size of my old house, and wondered what I was walking into. Saturday I did something I hadn't done in months. I checked my bank account. Really checked it. Not just the balance, but the transactions. The recurring payments. The automatic transfers. There it was. Like clockwork. Every month for the last 4 years. Mortgage payment to First National Bank. Account holder, Robert and Patricia Hensley. My parents. Amount, $1,847. Paid by Jake Hensley. Then there were the utilities. Electric, water, gas, internet. All in their name. All paid from my account. Combined monthly total, $487. Then there was the car insurance. Dad's truck. Mom's sedan. Both on my policy because it was just easier this way. Monthly total, $312. Added up. $2,646 every single month. $31,752 a year. For 4 years. I'd been paying my parents' mortgage and bills since Dad's heart episode. He'd been scared. Said the stress of the bills was killing him. Asked if I could help out. Just temporarily. Just until he got back on his feet. 4 years later, he was still on his feet. Still working his sales job at the auto dealership. Still making around $60,000 a year. But the bills never moved back to his account. I'd brought it up once. About a year in. Gently. Just asked if he was ready to take the payments back over. He'd gotten quiet. Then said, "You know, Jake, your mother and I sacrificed a lot raising you boys. Put you through school. Gave you everything. It would be nice if you could help out without keeping score." So I stopped asking. Kept paying. Kept being the good son. The reliable one. The one who showed up. The one who made space. Even when that space was carved out of my own life. I closed my banking app and sat there thinking about Sunday dinner. About Tyler and Rebecca sitting at that table. In the house I paid for. Eating food bought with money that should have been mine. While my parents played Switzerland and pretended they weren't taking sides. And I realized something. I'd been taking sides. Their side. For 4 years. Maybe it was time to stop. Sunday came too fast. I drove to my parents' house at 4:52 p.m. Pulled into the driveway behind 2 cars I recognized immediately. Tyler's white Audi. Leased. Probably couldn't afford the payments but had to look successful. Rebecca's blue Honda. The one I'd co-signed for 3 years ago because her credit was shot from student loans. They were already here. Already inside. Already comfortable. I sat in my truck for a full 2 minutes, hands on the steering wheel, breathing. This was stupid. I should leave. Turn around. Text Mom that I was sick. That I couldn't make it. But something kept me there. Maybe anger. Maybe curiosity. Maybe just the sick need to see it with my own eyes. How my parents would handle having both of us in the same room. How Tyler would look at me. If Rebecca would even be able to meet my eyes. I got out of the truck. Walked to the front door. Didn't knock. Just walked in like I'd done 1,000 times before. The house smelled like barbecue and cornbread. Mom's playlist was on. Some old Fleetwood Mac song about dreams. I walked into the dining room. And there they were. Tyler sat at the table. Same seat he'd always sat in. Left side, middle chair. He looked up when I walked in. His face went pale. But he didn't move. Rebecca was next to him. Right side. The seat that used to be mine when we'd come over together. She looked at me and her eyes went wet immediately. Jake. I didn't respond. Just looked at her. Then at Tyler. Then at the table. One seat left. The far end. The kids' table spot where I'd sat when I was 12. Mom came out of the kitchen carrying a bowl of coleslaw. Her face lit up when she saw me. Jake! You came! I'm so glad. She set the bowl down and came over. Hugged me tight. I stood there stiff. Didn't hug back. Just waited for her to let go. Dad came out next. Saw me. Nodded. Good to see you, son. Son. Like everything was normal. Like his other son hadn't destroyed my marriage. Like my ex-wife wasn't sitting at his table like she belonged here. Dinner's ready, Mom said brightly. Too brightly. The kind of bright that's actually fragile. Let's all sit down. I looked at the empty seat at the end of the table. Then at Tyler and Rebecca sitting together like a couple. We're so glad you could make it, Dad said, sitting at the head of the table. It's important that we all stay together. Family is family, no matter what. No matter what. No matter that Tyler betrayed me. No matter that Rebecca lied to my face for 4 months. No matter that I was paying for this house where they all sat comfortable and forgiving. I pulled out the chair and sat down. Mom started passing dishes. Ribs. Coleslaw. Cornbread. Green beans. Everyone took food in silence. The kind of silence that's so loud it hurts. Finally, Dad cleared his throat. I want to say something before we eat. He looked around the table. I know things have been difficult. I know there's been hurt. But your mother and I have decided we're not taking sides in this. Not taking sides. We love both our sons, he continued. And Rebecca, you've been part of this family for 10 years. That doesn't just go away. We're not going to pick sides and create more division. We're going to support everyone and hope that time heals things. I looked at him. Then at Mom. She was nodding along. Like this made sense. Like neutrality was the same as love. We just want peace, Mom added. Is that okay, Jake? Can we just have a nice dinner? Everyone was looking at me now. Waiting. Tyler looked down at his plate. Rebecca was crying silently. And my parents sat there asking me to be okay with this. To play along. To keep the peace. I picked up my fork. Cut into a rib. Took a bite. Sure, I said. We can have a nice dinner. Mom's shoulders relaxed. Dad smiled. Tyler looked up cautiously. And I sat there chewing, tasting barbecue that might as well have been cardboard, thinking about one thing. The mortgage payment scheduled to process Tuesday morning. The one I could cancel with one phone call. I took another bite and smiled. This is really good, Mom. Thanks for having me. I made it to my truck before the shaking started. Not visible shaking. Internal. The kind that starts in your chest and radiates out until you have to grip the steering wheel just to feel solid. I'd sat through that entire dinner. 2 hours. Smiled when Mom asked if I wanted seconds. Nodded when Dad talked about his latest sale. Made small talk about anything that wasn't the giant elephant sitting between Tyler and Rebecca. Who barely spoke. Who barely looked at each other. But who sat close enough that I could see their shoulders touching. And my parents acted like this was fine. Not taking sides. I started the truck. Made it 3 blocks before I had to pull over. My phone buzzed. Mom, Thank you for coming tonight. It meant everything to your father. Love you? I stared at that message. Like love was supposed to cover this. I didn't respond. Just drove home. My apartment was dark when I got there. Cooper greeted me at the door, tail wagging, the only creature genuinely happy to see me. I fed him. Changed clothes. Sat on my couch and pulled out my laptop. Opened my banking app. Found the scheduled payments section. There they were. All lined up. Automatic. Reliable. Every single month for 4 years. Mortgage, $1,847. 00 due Tuesday. Electric, $143. 00 due Thursday. Water/sewer, $98. 00 due Friday. Gas, $67. 00 due Thursday. Internet, $89. 00 due Wednesday. Car insurance, $312. 00 due next Monday. My finger hovered over the first payment. The mortgage. This was their house. The place they'd lived for 23 years. Where they'd raised Tyler and me. If I canceled this payment, they'd get a late fee. A warning. But they could catch up. But if I canceled all of them? That was a message. I thought about dinner. About Tyler's face. About Rebecca sitting in what used to be my seat. About Dad saying, "We're not taking sides," in a house I paid for. About 4 years of payments. $126,708. I clicked on the mortgage payment. Selected. Cancel automatic payment. Are you sure you want to cancel this scheduled payment? Yes. Then I went to the next one. Electric. Cancelled. Water. Cancelled. Gas. Cancelled. Internet. Cancelled. Car insurance. I paused. Then called the insurance company. I need to remove 2 drivers from my policy. Which drivers? Robert Hensley and Patricia Hensley. Both of them? That's effective immediately. They'll no longer be covered after midnight tonight. Are you sure? I'm sure. Okay. Your new monthly premium will be $87. I hung up. Sat there looking at all the cancelled payments. And I felt nothing. No guilt. No second thoughts. Just a calm, cold certainty that I'd done exactly what needed to be done. I closed my laptop. Went to bed. Slept better than I had since the divorce. The next week was quiet. Too quiet. I went to work. Managed my sites. Normal life. My phone stayed silent. No text from Mom. No calls from Dad. Nothing from Tyler or Rebecca. Wednesday afternoon, my phone rang. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. She called again 10 minutes later. I declined it. Then a text, "Jake, please call me. It's important." I put my phone in my pocket and got back to work. Thursday the calls picked up. Mom called 6 times. Dad called twice. Even Tyler called once. I ignored all of them. Thursday night someone knocked on my door. I looked through the peephole. Tyler. I opened the door but didn't invite him in. Chain still on. "Jake. Can we talk?" "About what?" "About Mom and Dad. They're freaking out. Said you canceled all the payments." "I did." He blinked. "Why?" "Because they're not my responsibility." "Dude, they need that help. Dad had that heart thing. That was 4 years ago, Tyler. He's fine now. He can pay his own bills. But they've been counting on you." I looked at him. At my little brother who I'd helped. Who I'd welcomed into my home. Who'd repaid me by sleeping with my wife. "And I was counting on you not to screw my wife," I said. "Guess we're both disappointed." His face went red. "That's not fair." "You want to talk about fair?" 4 years of payments. $126,000. To support parents who won't even acknowledge that what you did was wrong. They're not taking sides. They took a side when they invited Rebecca to dinner. They took a side when they sat you two next to each other. They took a side when Dad told me to be okay with it. Tyler looked down. "This isn't about us. This is about Mom and Dad." No. This is about me being done. With all of you. So you're just cutting them off? You're going to let them lose the house. They're not going to lose the house. They're going to have to pay for it themselves. Like adults. They're going to call you. A lot. They're really upset. I'm sure they are. He stood there trying to find words. Finally, he just shook his head. You've changed. No. I just stopped being convenient. He left. I closed the door. Locked it. Went back to making dinner. My hands weren't shaking anymore. Friday morning I woke up to 23 text messages. All from Mom. Starting around 6 a.m. Mom, Jake, please call me. Mom, the mortgage company called. Payment was rejected. Mom, this is serious. We need you to fix this. Mom, your father is very upset. This stress isn't good for his heart. Mom, why are you doing this to us? Mom, if this is about Sunday dinner, we can talk about it. Mom, Rebecca doesn't have to come anymore if that's what you want. Mom, please just call me back. The last one, I don't know who you've become, but this is cruel. We raised you better than this. I read through them all. Didn't respond to any. Just got dressed. Went to work. Around noon, Dad called. I answered. Put him on speaker while I reviewed blueprints. Jake. Dad? What the hell is going on? The mortgage payment bounced. The electric company is threatening to shut off service. Your mother is a mess. Sounds stressful. This isn't a joke. We need those payments. Then pay them. Silence. Then, you know we can't afford that. You make $60,000 a year, Dad. You can afford a $1,500 mortgage. It's not that simple. We have other expenses. Your mother's medications. House repairs. We were counting on your help. You've been counting on my help for 4 years. I think that's long enough. After everything we've done for you. And there it was. After everything you've done for me? I repeated. You mean raising me? Being my parents? Things you chose to do when you decided to have kids? Don't be smart with me. I'm not being smart. I'm being honest. You made me feel like I owed you something for doing the bare minimum. And I paid. For 4 years I paid. But I'm done now. This is about Sunday dinner, isn't it? You're punishing us because we won't cut Tyler out. No. I'm stopping payments because they were never supposed to be permanent. And when I needed you to have my back, you chose neutrality. We're not choosing sides. You keep saying that like it makes it better. But neutrality is a choice, Dad. When someone hurts your kid and you stay neutral, that's taking their side. He was quiet. Then, so what, you're just going to abandon us? Let us lose everything? You're not losing everything. You're losing free money. There's a difference. I could have another heart attack from this stress. Then I suggest you figure out your finances before that happens. Jake. I hung up. Sat there at my desk and waited for something. Guilt. Regret. Nothing came. Just a quiet, solid feeling that I'd done exactly the right thing. Saturday I was at Home Depot when I saw Rebecca in the lighting aisle. She didn't see me until I was 15 feet away. Her face went pale. Jake. I nodded. Kept walking toward checkout. Jake, wait. Please. I stopped. Turned. What? Can we talk? Just for a minute? About what? About your parents. Tyler told me what's happening. Your mom called me crying last night. She's scared they're going to lose the house. I just stared at her. Why are you telling me this? Because I care about them. They've been like parents to me too. You're not married to me anymore, Rebecca. They're not your parents. She flinched. I know. But I still care. And I think you're being really cruel. Cruel. Yes. They didn't do anything to you. I laughed. Actually laughed. They invited you to dinner. With Tyler. Like nothing happened. And asked me to be okay with it. They're trying to keep the family together. There is no family, Rebecca. You and Tyler destroyed that. You used to be kind. I used to be convenient. There's a difference. I walked past her. Checked out. Drove home. Sunday evening I got an email from First National Bank. Subject: Important notice regarding property at 4782 Maple Drive. Dear Mr. Jake Hensley, this letter is to inform you that the property located at 4782 Maple Drive has missed its scheduled mortgage payment. As of this notice, the account is 15 days past due. Please note that continued non-payment may result in late fees, credit reporting, and potential foreclosure proceedings. If you wish to resume payments, please contact us immediately. I forwarded the email to Dad. Added one line, "Not my problem anymore." Then I closed my laptop. Poured a drink. Sat on my balcony with Cooper, watching the sun go down. My phone buzzed. Dad calling. I didn't answer. It rang 6 more times that night. I never picked up. Because for the first time in my life, I'd learned something important. You can't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Especially when those people won't even acknowledge you're burning. 3 weeks after I canceled the payments, my uncle called. Uncle Ray. Dad's older brother. The one who showed up to family events twice a year and acted like that made him an authority on everyone's business. I was at a site inspection when my phone rang. Voicemail. Jake, it's your Uncle Ray. Listen, I heard what's going on with your folks. I think you need to call them. Work this out. They're family, kid. You don't turn your back on family over money. I deleted it without responding. 2 hours later, another voicemail. My grandmother. Mom's mother. 83 years old with a voice that could cut through steel. Jacob Michael Hensley. I don't know what's gotten into you, but your mother is beside herself. You call her right now and fix this mess. Jacob Michael. Full government name from someone who'd probably forgotten I existed until Mom called crying. I deleted that one too. Then came the Facebook messages. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in 5 years suddenly very concerned. My cousin Jennifer, hey, heard you're going through something with your parents. Just wanted to say family is forever. My cousin Brad, dude, what's going on? Your mom called my mom crying. This seems really harsh. I didn't respond to any of them. Just kept working. Kept living. Because here's what none of them knew. Dad had been calling everyone. Building a narrative. Telling his version where I was the villain who abandoned them over a simple misunderstanding. Not mentioning the 4 years. Not mentioning the $126,000. Not mentioning Tyler and Rebecca sitting at his table while he asked me to be okay with it. Just the part where their son was cruel and heartless. Friday afternoon, Tyler called. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. What? Jake. Please. Just listen for 1 minute. I'm listening. Mom and Dad are losing the house. Like actually losing it. The bank sent foreclosure papers. The power's off. Water's getting shut off next week. This is serious. I know. You know? And you're just okay with it? They have 60 days to catch up on payments. That's plenty of time to figure out their finances. They don't have the money, Jake. Dad's commission has been down. Mom's hours got cut. They can't afford it without your help. Then they need to sell the house and move somewhere they can afford. Silence. Then, you really mean that? I do. This is because of me, isn't it? Because of what happened with Rebecca. I laughed. You think this is about you? Isn't it? No, Tyler. This is about 4 years of paying bills that weren't mine. This is about Mom and Dad acting like I owed them my entire financial life. This is about them choosing neutrality when you destroyed my marriage. But mostly, this is about me finally learning to say no. They're your parents. And you're my brother. Didn't stop you from sleeping with my wife? He was quiet for a long moment. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I'm really sorry. It's worth nothing. Jake. Is there anything else? Rebecca wants to talk to you. No. She thinks she can help smooth things over with Mom and Dad. I don't want things smoothed over. I want to be left alone. We're all just trying to help. Then help by leaving me out of it. I hung up. Blocked his number. Should have done that weeks ago. Saturday morning, Mom texted from a new number. Unknown, Jake, it's Mom. Please, can we meet for coffee? Just you and me. No Dad. No Tyler. Just us. Please. I stared at that message for 10 minutes. Every part of me said no. Said this was another attempt at manipulation. But there was a small part. A stupid, hopeful part. That wondered if maybe she'd actually heard me. Me when? Mom, today? There's a coffee shop on Broadway. Bean and Brew. 2 p.m.? Me fine. I showed up at 1:58. She was already there. Sitting at a corner table with 2 coffees. She'd ordered for me. Black, 2 sugars. The way I used to drink it when I was 16. I hadn't drunk my coffee that way in 8 years. Jake. She stood up. Tried to hug me. I stayed stiff. Didn't hug back. She pulled away, looking hurt. We sat down. Thank you for coming, she said. I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't. She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup. She looked older. Tired. Your father doesn't know I'm here. She started. He'd be furious if he knew I was meeting you. Okay. Jake, I need you to understand something. We're losing everything. The house. Our stability. Your father's pride is destroyed. He hasn't slept in weeks. I took a sip of the too sweet coffee. Didn't say anything. I know you're angry about Sunday dinner. She continued. I know we handled that badly. But this isn't just about that anymore. This is about survival. Whose survival? She blinked. What? Whose survival are you worried about? Yours? Or mine? I don't understand. For 4 years I paid your bills. Your mortgage. Your utilities. Your insurance. That's $2,646 every single month. Do you know what I could have done with that money? She looked down. I could have bought my own house. I continued. I could have invested it. Saved it. Used it for the life I was building with Rebecca. But instead I gave it to you. And you never once asked if I could afford it. Never once said thank you. Just expected it. Like I owed you. We didn't expect it, she said quietly. Yes, you did. Because when I stopped paying, you called it abandonment. You called it cruel. You sent the entire family after me like I'm the villain. Because we're desperate, Jake. We're going to lose our home. Then sell it. Downsize. Move somewhere you can afford. Her eyes filled with tears. That house is our life. We raised you boys there. All our memories are there. And I'm supposed to sacrifice my financial future to preserve your memories? I'm not asking you to sacrifice anything. I'm asking you to help your parents. You're asking me to enable you. There's a difference. She wiped her eyes. What happened to you? You used to be so kind. So generous. I used to be convenient. And you mistook that for kindness. She flinched. That's not fair. Isn't it? Tell me, Mom. When's the last time you asked me how I was doing? When's the last time you checked in on me after the divorce? When's the last time you acknowledged that what Tyler did was wrong? She was quiet. You haven't, I said. Because that would mean taking a side. And you don't want to take sides. You want everyone to get along and pretend everything's fine. Even when it's not. I'm trying to keep this family together. There is no family, Mom. Not anymore. Tyler destroyed that. Rebecca destroyed that. And you and Dad destroyed what was left when you invited them to dinner and asked me to be okay with it. So that's it. You're just done with all of us? I'm done being treated like an ATM. I'm done being the one who always has to forgive and understand and make space. I'm done setting myself on fire to keep you warm. She stared at me. I don't even know who you are anymore. I'm the same person I've always been, Mom. You just never looked close enough to notice. I stood up. Left the too sweet coffee untouched. Wait, she said. Please. Just tell me what we need to do. To fix this. To make this right. I looked at her. Really looked at her. At the woman who'd raised me. Who I'd wanted to make proud. Who I'd spent 36 years trying to please. You can't fix this, I said. Because you don't think anything's broken. You think I'm the problem? That if I just came back and paid your bills and pretended Tyler and Rebecca didn't destroy my life, everything would be fine. But that's not how this works. So what happens now? Now you figure out your finances. You sell the house if you have to. You downsize. You do what millions of people do when they can't afford something. You adjust. And us? Our relationship? I don't know, Mom. I really don't know. I walked out of that coffee shop and didn't look back. Drove home. Fed Cooper. Sat on my couch in the apartment I could finally afford because I wasn't paying someone else's mortgage. And I didn't feel guilty. For weeks later, I drove past my parents' house. Didn't mean to. Was just on my way to a job site and the GPS took me down Maple Drive. There was a sign in the front yard. For sale. I pulled over. Sat there looking at the house I'd grown up in. The house I'd paid for. The house where Mom had her garden and Dad had his workshop. The house they were losing because they couldn't afford to keep it without me. I waited for something. Sadness. Regret. The desperate urge to call them and fix it. Nothing came. Just a quiet observation that the grass needed mowing and the paint was peeling on the shutters. I pulled out my phone. Took a picture of the for sale sign. Not to send to anyone. Not to post anywhere. Just to have. As proof that I'd really done it. That I'd really walked away. I put my truck in drive and kept moving. Because that's what you do when you finally learn to let go. You keep moving forward. And you don't look back. 6 months later, I got a promotion. Operations Director. 95,000 base salary. Company truck. Team of 12 under me. The kind of job I'd been working toward for 8 years. My boss called me into his office on a Tuesday morning. Told me I'd earned it. That I was reliable. Consistent. Drama-free. Drama-free. If he only knew. I took the job. Moved into a bigger apartment. 2 bedrooms. Actual square footage. A balcony where Cooper could actually turn around. Started dating someone. Sarah. A civil engineer I'd met on a job site. Smart. Independent. Had her own life and didn't need me to fix her problems. On our 3rd date, she asked about my family. We're not really in contact, I said. Why not? I thought about how to answer that. About the mortgage payments. The Sunday dinner. The canceled bills. The for sale sign. They asked me to light myself on fire to keep them warm, I said. And when I stopped, they called me cruel. She nodded slowly. So you chose yourself? I did. Good, she said. That's healthy. I'd spent 6 months waiting for someone to tell me I was wrong. That family was forever. That I should forgive and forget and make peace. Sarah was the first person who just said good. I think that's when I knew she was different. Life got quiet in a good way. Work kept me busy. Sarah kept me grounded. Cooper kept me company. I stopped checking Facebook for family drama. Stopped wondering if anyone would reach out. Stopped waiting for an apology that was never coming. I just lived. And it felt like breathing after being underwater for years. Then, on a Saturday in March, I saw them. I was at the grocery store. The one near my new apartment. Loading produce into my cart when I heard a familiar voice. Jake? I turned. Mom. Standing there with a half-full cart. Wearing clothes I didn't recognize. A coat that looked worn. Hair shorter than I remembered. She looked older. A lot older. Hi, Mom. I thought that was you. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. You look good. Really good. Thanks. Dad appeared from around the corner, holding a jar of store-brand pasta sauce. He saw me and stopped. Jake. Dad? An awkward silence settled over the produce section. Other shoppers moved around us like we were furniture. How have you been? Mom asked. Good. Got a promotion at work. That's wonderful. She looked like she wanted to say more but couldn't find the words. We're doing okay too. Settled into our new place. New place. The apartment they'd moved to after selling the house. I'd heard about it through the family grapevine. 1 bedroom. 800 square feet. On the other side of town. That's good, I said. Dad shifted his weight. We've been meaning to reach out. Have you? He looked down. It's been complicated. I'm sure it has. Mom touched my arm. Maybe we could get coffee sometime? Talk? I looked at her hand on my sleeve. At the woman who'd raised me. Who I'd paid bills for. Who'd asked me to be okay with my brother destroying my marriage. I don't think so, Mom. Her eyes filled with tears. Jake, please. It's been 6 months. We're trying. Trying what? To understand. To make things right. You can't make this right by having coffee. Dad stepped closer. Then what do we need to do? Tell us. We'll do it. I looked at him. At the man who'd called me selfish for stopping payments. Who'd turned the whole family against me. Who'd never once apologized for any of it. You need to accept that this is how things are now. I said. I'm not your safety net anymore. I'm not the son who shows up and fixes everything. I'm just a guy who's living his own life. But we're family, Mom said. Are we? Because family doesn't just mean showing up when you need money. It means being there when things are hard. It means taking a side when someone gets hurt. You couldn't do that. We were trying to keep everyone together, Dad said. By asking me to pretend nothing happened. By inviting Tyler and Rebecca to dinner and acting like that was normal. By making me feel guilty for having boundaries. They both looked down. I don't hate you. I continued. I'm not punishing you. I'm just done carrying weight that isn't mine. So that's it? Mom asked. We just never see you again? I don't know, Mom. Maybe someday. When you can acknowledge what happened. When you can take responsibility instead of playing victim. But not now. I grabbed my cart. Started to walk away. Jake, Dad called after me. I stopped. Turned. I'm sorry. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I looked at him. At his worn jacket. His tired eyes. The way he stood like a man who'd lost something he didn't know how to get back. It's worth something, I said. Just not enough yet. I walked away. Checked out. Loaded my groceries into my truck. Drove home to my apartment where Sarah was waiting with Cooper. Where my life was quiet and mine and free from the weight of people who confused obligation with love. I texted Sarah, ran into my parents at the store. She replied immediately, You okay? Me, yeah? Actually, I am. And I was. Because I'd learned something important over the past 6 months. You can love people and still choose yourself. You can wish them well and still keep your distance. You can forgive without forgetting. And you can move forward without looking back. That night, Sarah and I made dinner together. Pasta. Nothing fancy. Just sauce from a jar and pasta from a box and garlic bread from the freezer section. But it tasted like freedom. Like a life I'd built myself. Like a future that was mine. You're quiet, Sarah said. Just thinking. About your parents? About how different things are now. How I used to think letting go meant being cruel. But it just meant choosing peace. She squeezed my hand. You chose yourself. There's nothing cruel about that. We ate in comfortable silence. Cooper begged for scraps. The apartment was warm and mine and exactly where I wanted to be. Later that night, I stood on my balcony looking at the city lights. Thought about the house on Maple Drive. About the for sale sign. About the 4 years of payments. Thought about Sunday dinner. About Tyler and Rebecca. About Mom asking me to keep the peace. Thought about Dad's apology in the grocery store. About whether it was enough. Whether it would ever be enough. And I realized something. It didn't matter. Because I'd already moved on. Not out of anger. Not out of revenge. But because I'd finally learned that the opposite of love isn't hate. It's indifference. And standing there on my balcony, in my apartment, in my life, I felt completely, peacefully indifferent. They'd figure it out. Or they wouldn't. Tyler would grow up. Or he wouldn't. Rebecca would find happiness. Or she wouldn't. And none of it had anything to do with me anymore. I went inside. Locked the door. Got ready for bed. Sarah was already asleep. Cooper was curled up at the foot of the bed. I climbed in, turned off the light, and for the first time in years, I fell asleep without carrying anyone else's weight. Just mine. And it was exactly enough.